and that was like early on.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I just generally
bookmarked
do not really like The Sun at all.
Yeah, I don't read any papers, to be fair. I just seen it on the. There we go, we're live. Boom. Welcome to episode of Shooting the Shit, which is 153, I think. Yep, it's 53. So yes, there we go. And we're on the radios and the YouTubes, and I think that's it. We could actually do it on Twitch, but I don't want to.
Well, what would it even come under with Twitch? Because don't they have something for talk shows, I think?
Yeah, they
but
do.
That's got completely separate rules to the gaming stuff. Same
Has
with
it?
IRL and the cooking one, and creative.
Oh, has it? I didn't know, man. I don't look. I just usually stream on Twitch for the games.
Yeah, but it's generally just, if you're doing something, make sure you keep doing it, and if you're changing to a game, make sure you actually change to a game. But it's very slightly different rules.
Right.
But it still more or less comes under, don't be a dick and don't abuse the system.
Yeah, well. Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, we could probably do the show on there. Anyway, right, so Ubisoft delays The Crew 2, Far Cry 5 and unannounced game to make them better. That's actually kind of nice to hear. I don't trust these fuckers, right? I think the only reason they're doing this is because of what happened with EA and Star Wars. I'm positive, right, that these
well,
delays are to take out microtransactions.
There's definitely going to be part of it, but you've also got to remember, Ubisoft are one of the few where I refuse to play any of their games on PC because you play, but they're still the most creative group out of the bunch.
Yeah, no,
Just look at Rainbow Six Siege, for example. You don't see that sort of shit at all with the major companies. Sure, they screw it up a fair bit, but that's to be expected.
All the Far Cry games are the same. All the Assassin's Creed games are the same.
Yeah, but when they came out, they were leaders in what they were doing. So.
But it's the same formula that they're doing on all the games. It's boring now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they're delaying it to both remove loot boxes if they were planning on adding them in the first place.
Come on,
and replacing them with a better system.
Come on, Assassin's Creed was full of them. You can't tell me they're not no. The new Assassin's Creed was fucking full of them. That's exactly why this has been done, right? But anyway.
Yeah, but again, I really would not be. I'd expect them to be taking that out, but also replacing it with a similar, slightly better consumer-friendly system.
Maybe, and that's what's going to take so long. Anyway, so
yeah.
Ubisoft announced they delayed the release of 3 of their up-and-coming games in order to help their staff better express their vision. Fucking lie.
And
thanks to Assassin's Creed's Origins success.
Ubi would actually delay games for that, though. You've got to remember.
Well, thanks to Assassin's Creed's Origins success, Ubisoft has decided to take what they learned from allowing their developers more time with a game and have applied it to the up-and-coming games.
Because again, Ubisoft's seriously the least shit out of the bunch. The biggest problem they have is fucking Uplay. Because if it wasn't for that, I would be playing a lot of their games on PC, but instead I either go down the route of the Men from Penzance or play it on console.
Well, but EA is the same. I mean, you have to use Origin for EA games.
Yeah, and that's the exact same reason I hardly play any EA games on PC. The fact that Origin is pretty much almost good enough would sway me if it wasn't for the fact that everything else is wrong with EA. Whereas with Ubisoft, it's the fact that their DRM is kind of shit. If it wasn't for that, I would happily be playing Ubi games on PC.
Well, see, what annoys me, right, is that if I buy the game on Steam, I'll also have to fucking use Uplay, which is fucking annoying.
That's the same reason I don't actually do it with either of those two.
It's like
primarily.
It's
but
like, guys,
EA's Origin is actually good enough where I'm almost willing to say, you know what, maybe I will, if it wasn't for the fact that EA's business practices in total are absolute shite.
Yeah, but put it this way, right? EA doesn't have their games on Steam.
They have a few of them.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It doesn't go onto Origin, does it? It doesn't like launch from Steam and then launch Origin.
There's a few that I have that actually do not need Origin. Because aren't the Need for Speed games not needing Origin?
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Yeah, because I have two of those, which I don't even know if you can get one of them anymore.
I've not bought any EA games on Steam because
there's a few. I actually have one which, yeah, it needs Origin, but it's no longer on Steam storefront. But I still have it on my Steam account.
Right.
The one is actually Alice Madness Returns, and I got that because I was wanting to support American McGee.
Yeah. I know that game. There's three of them games now, isn't there? Is there 2 or 3? Or is the third one being developed?
There's 2 Alice games. Alice Madness Returns is the second one.
Yeah.
But when you buy it, when you used to buy it on Steam, you could also get the original Alice in Wonderland free with it.
That's the one. That's the one I played. I never played the other ones.
I originally played Madness Returns when I was in Poland. God, 10, 11 years ago now.
Mm.
And it was actually one of my first PC games I ever played. Somewhat reasonably.
The first one I played was
again, I was primarily a console player, so
yeah, but reasonably that I sat and actually played was Dungeon Keeper, the first one. Oh, it's fucking amazing, that game. Holy shit, that game was fucking amazing. And then after there was a Quake demo that we kept playing, but it didn't run that well at all.
That sounds about right.
So it needed on a PC, and then the PlayStation sort of, we had the PlayStation 2 and all that.
For me, if you exclude all the Flash games that I used to play a lot of, I would have to probably say something along the lines of Warframe or Payday 2 was one of the first ones that I properly got into. So it's no surprise both of those have over 1,000 hours on Steam now.
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing it, the internet didn't exist, so...
Yeah. But no, that was the first time I properly got my first laptop for myself, so...
Right.
It's the first time I actually got a proper chance to do that.
Yeah, ours was some type of Celeron. Not Celeron, Cyrex. IBM Cyrex 2...
Yeah, if you don't know who IBM is, you either do not work in business or you are very, very young. Because the only thing they're still doing nowadays is full-on business.
It was an IBM Cyrex CPU, put it like that. It was before. It was even before. Well, no, it wasn't really before. But the Intel CPUs were so much more expensive, like so much more. You were talking like between £200 to £300 more.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You've got also got to remember a lot of the older personal computers in America, much more than in the UK, were IBM PCs and compatibles. They were that big. Meanwhile, over in the UK, we had stuff like the Dragon and the C64.
Yeah,
that sort of stuff was much more popular in Europe compared to America.
My first PC was the Singular Spectrum, so there was that.
Yeah, that's one of the other big ones. The BBC Micros as well, if you were rich enough.
But my first proper PC, as in beige, IBM compatible, monitor, mouse, keyboard, was that one I was talking about. And basically, it was Dungeon Keeper, and then the patch came for DirectX 5 or something, and the PC just went.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was back
then. So I went to Curry's, and I seen this 4 meg creative GPU thing because right back then you could get a Voodoo, right? But it would only do 3D. You had to get a 2D card as well. So this one that I picked done both, and I was like, yeah, it does both. It's cheaper. It'll probably run the game. Put that in it. It did. It wasn't great, but it done what I bought it for. So, and that's when I got into upgrading PCs and shit, because I was like, holy shit, I need better stuff. Like, get the game
more or less,
shinier.
but that's one of the great things about PCs compared to consoles. If you don't have enough power in your rig, you can just chuck in a bit more extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even with gaming laptops nowadays, you can do that. Not so much with the GPUs.
Yeah, with the CPU.
But there is mobile GPUs that are even better than some of the pre-built ones now. Yeah. Not sure if there's a mobile variant of the 1060 or 1070 or 1080. There is a mobile variant in the 1050s.
There is actual fully fledged 1080 laptops.
Yeah. There's also that as well,
not cut down ones.
Those are a lot more costly than what I got. So.
Oh yeah,
because I'm talking about like 400 quid more costly. My current one was 800. Well, it was 830. But if I wanted to get a full-fledged 1080, it would have been about 1,200.
They're more like 3,000.
Yeah, you can see just how extortionate that is for what is subjectively not worth the actual leap.
Look, the technologies they are. What's amazing to me is that a fully fledged desktop GPU is small enough and cool enough to be put in a laptop.
Well, as long as it isn't running an AMD processor, and in which case you've pretty much got yourself a heater for the winter.
Hi, my processor's fucking really good. Shush.
No, I'm saying that as somebody who also has had a couple of AMD ones and has burnt myself on the AMD ones.
Oh, aye, the old ones. I'm talking about the new Ryzen ones that I've got on my desktop. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that Ryzen, but that's actually kind of one of the better things with them. They're so powerful for their form factor. They also emit a lot of heat.
The Ryzen doesn't. The Ryzen's
because
actually
it's a new architecture, isn't it? That's why.
It's completely redone. I mean, their old ones were fucking awful. The Ryzen ones are actually really fucking good. It's
I really wouldn't be surprised at all. They're also meant to be a lot more powerful than the GTX competitors for slightly less cost, if I'm not mistaken.
Or do you mean I'm talking about the CPUs. Their GPUs are still pretty bad.
I'm talking about both. The laptop systems that a lot of the AMD laptops sometimes use, if they don't have a proper discrete graphics card, is a APU, which has a mix.
Yeah. They're actually really good for a mix.
Yeah, the APUs are pretty fucking decent because they run. I'm not saying it's a fully dedicated GPU, but it's damn close.
Yeah.
But they end up running really hot.
Well, that's because of AMD and the.
Yeah, more or less. That's because it's AMD. But no, the fan would work quite heavily, and it would get stupidly hot.
Well, the new
but
Ryzen
in
ones...
winter, in the places where it gets squeezed below zero, it's pretty nice.
What, like here?
Yes.
the new chip, the new APUs that they're coming out with, like now, are based on Ryzen and Vega, so you're going to get a massive
massive boost for not much extra cost and a lot cooler because it's meant to be running a lot more efficiently and with less heat instead.
Yeah, so like at the moment AMD are on a winning streak, and I hope they keep doing it because it forces Intel to do stuff because Intel are panicking. Anyway, back to fucking Ubisoft, man.
Yes, ma.
So they say that the decision is in line with our strategic vision of developing even more engaging and higher quality experiences for gamers. Oh no, the big bad gamers.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the greatest things about the competition between AMD and Nvidia and Intel. AMD's always kind of got to be there, though, for Intel and Nvidia, because if they don't, they'd have to be split by the US government, because they'd have a pure monopoly.
Well, I don't know, they already had one for 10 years.
They technically have, like, I think it's 90% of the market share.
Yeah.
And the only reason they keep AMD kicking is because it doesn't have the US government splitting them up. But AMD are still very fucking strong for what they do.
Sometimes. So taking.
So despite the market share, they're still pretty good with with most of what they do.
Actually, they picked up 10% of the market share this time with the new CPUs. That's quite a jump.
But even then, that's like, I think it's 85% are still with Intel and Nvidia. It's not much at all, but
it's
for what they do, it's incredibly nice.
Aye.
You've also kind of got to remember both Intel and Nvidia focus not just on the consumer side, but they also have quite a lot of stuff dedicated to servers and businesses.
Well, that's
so
what
that's
AMD's
also way the figures.
AMD's hitting that too now. In fact, Microsoft just bought a shitload of Epic CPUs from AMD for their new server development. So that must have been a massive contract.
Yeah, most likely.
Anyway,
definitely a major boon to the AMD's market share as well.
Yeah. So anyway, Ubisoft taking more time with Assassin's Creed enabled talented development team to fully express their creative vision. As expected, this had very positive impact on the game's quality and largely something to its commercial success. Taking a similar approach, we decided to invest additional development time in 3 up-and-coming games. It's clear Ubisoft and the extra time allowed their teams more to polish the games. Far Cry 5 will now release on March 27th, 2018, 1 month later than previously detailed. See, there's not much you can polish in a month. I'm just saying.
You say that, but you've also got to remember the average time between the end of when everything actually gets done and it all gets sent off to be made into CDs to be distributed.
Yeah, I know.
It is about a month, so that is extra months amount of time.
Yeah,
it's not great, but think about it as, you know, that day one patch that you always get. It's that.
What, the one Assassin's Creed Origins had?
Yeah. Any day one patch that you get is generally the amount of work, extra work the developers are doing, growing the time that it's been sent off to be mastered and distributed, and the time it actually gets released.
I don't think you caught what I said.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's actually that much in there, but that is actually quite a lot of time for talented teams.
No. They're saying Assassin's Creed Origins had more time, right? It was still a buggy mess when it came out. It still needed a fucking first day patch. I'm telling you, that
day one patch is the extra, again, months worth of work between mastering and release.
I'm telling you, they're full of shit. They're taking out loot boxes. The Crew 2 will release the first half of fiscal 2018-19 rather than on March 2018. This means that the Crew 2 will release prior to September 2018. That is a massive jump from March to September. That's a big jump, right? Isn't
the Crew 2 a lot further away than Far Cry 5?
Well, Far Cry 5 was March 27th. The Crew was meant to be on March 16th. So whatever the Crew had, they're going to, like, it must, fuck knows how much fucking microtransactions that motherfucker had, but whatever it is, it's going to take them till September to remove them. The third game was delayed, was an unannounced franchise game penned for release in fiscal 2018-19, April 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2019, but will now be delayed to fiscal 2019 to 2020, April 1st, 2019 to March 2020. It's pretty nice to hear that Microsoft delaying their games to give the developers more time on them. I don't think it is. I think they're full of shit. I think they're removing all the shitty microtransactions they done. Because...
Well, even if they are doing that, it's actually good that they're doing something. to somewhat increase the experience for players.
Well, dude, they had to, because we now know how many units at retail Battlefront 2 sold.
Yeah.
And Battlefront 2 only sold 882,000 units at retail in November. Ouch. Ouch, man. That's... holy shit. They wanted to sell 13 million. They didn't even hit 1 million. Like, that's how bad... that's how bad that game tanked. That's funny. That's funny as fuck. That serves them right for being greedy bastards. NPD Group has released some early numbers on retail sales for certain games, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 from EA and DICE only moved 882,000 units during the month of November in the United States. That was across the PS4 and Xbox One. That was the two consoles. Like, one console would usually sell about that. That's like, one console would usually sell twice that, and this is across the two. Wow, that's funny. That's funny. That serves them right. And then we get the news that Ubisoft's delaying games. Wonder why. I'm just saying that's why. This is why. So this news came courtesy of a reporter from Wall Street Journal, Sarah E. Needleman, who shared the investor note on Twitter. Electronic Arts Star Wars game has weak US debut market top. US console video game sales rose 9% in November from a year ago to 840 million. That's a lot of money. That's a hell of a lot of money. Led by Activision's new Call of Duty World War II, with 4.4 million units sold. Now, okay, that game isn't meant to be that good either. So, it's not sold that much. Like, if you actually release a really fucking good game, it would probably sell more than that if people know about it. Like, if it's... I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? No. It's like, Call of Duty's getting a bit old. A lot of people are like, nah. If you release, like, a game that's really, really good, and then you release the second or third one, usually they sell more because everyone wants it. So I know for a fact Call of Duty sales are falling, so 4.4 million is still quite good. But it was a disappointing month for Electronic Arts, whose high-profile Star Wars Battlefront 2, which debated about 2 weeks later, sold just 8... Well, what did I say that? The researcher estimates EA faced heavy criticism from gamers ahead of the shooter's game launch over concerns that monetization feature inside it, which was subsequently halted, created an unfair advantage for players with deep pockets because they can pay to win, blah blah blah. We believe that the loyalty of the Star Wars fan base, the game's appeal as a holiday gift, and the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi on December 15 will result in sales of the game bouncing back. No, it won't. No, it won't. And Disney's going to rape them. I'm telling you, Disney's going to be on their ass. Disney's going to be fucking upset. EA's microtransaction-laden title was on the receiving end of a righteous backfire, and when gamers spoke up and challenged them on the inclusion of premium pay-to-win loot boxes in Battlefront 2. It's unlikely the game will hit the 13 million the 13 million projected sell-throughs that analysts had raved about prior to its release. Yeah, see, I mean, it's not even hit 1 million. How the hell is it going to hit 13? There's no way. It's completely fucked. Angry parents joined in the fray alongside hardcore gamers when they found out that the game was aimed at kids but featuring gamble-style loot boxes. The loot boxes were set up in such a way that the only way to upgrade your character was to acquire said loot boxes. If you were unable to get what you wanted from the standard boxes using in-game credits, it was possible to pay real money to access more credits to unlock more loot boxes so you could finally get what you wanted. This resulted in both gambling commissions and lawmakers getting involved. It's no surprise that EA's stubbornness on the matter easily flared tempers above the usual backlash that company receives, and this resulted in people being angry enough to not get the government involved, but to not only get the government involved, but many withheld their wallets despite some media outlets still shilling for the game. The ESA coming to EA's aid, and some fanboys still trying to convince plebs that they should just ignore the loot boxes and have fun. Well, thankfully a majority of people didn't listen, but there was still 882,000 suckers out there who fell into the trap willingly. Meanwhile, Activision's Call of Duty World War II managed to...
suckers out there.
yeah. Call of Duty World War II managed to sell 4.4 million units at retail across home consoles and PC in the US alone. These sales don't include digital purchases. Some people are trying to make excuses for Battlefront 2, saying that the digital sales might offset the retail. No, it won't. No, it won't. But it didn't work with Destiny 2, and it's doubtful the negative press led more people to purchasing the game digitally just to support EA's attempt at normalising gambling with kids. So, yeah, no, fuck them. That's fucking funny. I think that's the best news that I've heard all week. It's quite good.
Also, it's not actually listed there, but the UK's Gambling Commission has, for the first time ever, released any information about in-game items with gambling.
I have to go make food now. I'll be back.
Okay. And rather interestingly, the number of people who are apparently problem gamblers under the in the ages of 11 to 16 is slightly higher than the rate of problem gamblers in the UK and Scotland, and it's only beaten by Wales. But then again, it's Wales, so all they really have to do is shag sheep. Yeah, because the total number of respondents was approximately 2,000 kids, and out of that, 0.9% of them were problem gamblers. 0.5% of the people aged 16 plus in England identify as problem gamblers, and this was in 2012. 0.7% in Scotland, that was in 2015, and 1.1% of people in Wales. And I really wouldn't be surprised if that number keeps on growing, considering everything with the increase in gambling style things within video games. And not just that, but the percentage that are at risk of gambling is at 1.3. So yeah, I really would not trust that kind of shit at all, because that's higher than the average in the entire country, if I'm not mistaken. It's page 22, 21, 22. And not just that, the actual way that they presented it was meant to be roughly based around skin gambling. So, for example, Counter-Strike Global Offensive with their CSGO Lotto style sites. But the way actually asked the questions and introduced it was very open-ended. To be exact, it was when playing computer games and apps, it is sometimes possible to collect in-game items, e.g. weapons, power-ups, and tokens. For some games, it's possible to bet these in-game items for a chance to win more of them. So yeah, it wasn't just, oh, you can sometimes gamble skins. It was much more, hey, this is something that you can do. Percentage of people that actually didn't know or weren't aware of that sort of thing were only 55%. Yet, so that's what 45% of kids were aware of it,
Okay,
and
back.
11% of them had actually done that. So yeah.
Right, I'm back. What's going on?
Welcome back. Oh, I was just adding extra information about the gambling and video game stuff, since the
UK
UK had actually released their most recent report for young people and gambling.
Yeah, they're looking into it, basically.
Well, not just that. The amount of people that are at-risk gamblers are 1.3%, and that's higher than the actual number of problem gamblers in the entire country. Sorry, not the actual number, but the actual percentage of problem gamblers. And the only place in the UK which has more problem gamblers than the kids throughout the UK is in Wales with 1.1%.
Okay, cool. Right, I'll end the YouTube now since we're going to do that. So, bye-bye, YouTubes. You can tune in to aerithradio.co.uk for the rest. Yeah, this will work. It's the way it always works, right?
Yep,
so we'll stop
of course.
that.